Well, hello everyone. As it's Easter time, Adam had a really lovely idea for us to make Easter gardens, and today I'm just going to make an Easter garden and give you an idea of what we're using. But it would be really great if as many of you as possible would like to join in and make your very own special Easter garden. And what we would really love is, if it's okay with your parents, that you would put a little picture of that on the Facebook page for the benefice of St Denys and St Mark's, so that we could all look at one another's Easter gardens and just be reminded that it's a very special time of the year. So anyway, here we are. I'll show you what I've got to make my Easter garden. I've got a big plant pot and a base and a little plant pot. I've got my string and some scissors. I've got some bits and bobs of rocks and stones. Oh, little bit of water. In here, and I've put a cover over the top because it's quite windy today, I've got some grass seed, just because I happen to have grass seed hanging around. But if you've got any seeds left over from last year, or if you want to go and have a look in the phone box in Rotherfield Village, sometimes there's a few packets of seeds in there. That might be quite nice to put in your garden. I stuck in a little bit of tin foil. Did I tell you about my string? I can't remember. What else have I got? Oh, I've got some little sticks, some soil, and some stones. Okay, so I think we are ready to go. So I spent a little bit of time just gathering all those bits and pieces together first of all, so that I was ready to build everything. And as I tell the story of what happened on Good Friday, we're just going to wander together about what it might have been like if we were there on that day, and wonder about what it means for us today, why we still remember Good Friday and Easter, and the difference that it makes in our lives every day. Well, first of all, we're going to use this big pot saucer as the base for our Easter garden. Now, I wonder what you base your Easter on. Is your Easter all about chocolate? All about Easter eggs and going on Easter egg hunts, I wonder? Or is there a little bit of room just for thinking about what Jesus did on that Good Friday and then on Easter Sunday as well? So we're going to put everything onto our pot base here. The next thing that we need is some soil. Oh, this is fun, isn't it? Right, going to throw that in there. Oh, my soil's got one or two weeds growing in it. Oh, pop those in the garden. There we go. Oh, I might have just a little bit more. I've got some spare here. There we go. Oh, that's lovely. Oh, I'm going to get my hands in there. Oh, throw that bit away. Oh, and that piece. I wonder what the soil feels like in your hands. This soil is kind of lumpy, but then it breaks up really easily, and it's a little bit cold, a bit chilly today. Jesus told some stories in the Bible all about soil. He once told a story about soil to his friends, and he told them that our hearts are a little bit like soil. Perhaps sometimes they could be a bit hard and lumpy or a bit cold, but he was saying that hearts need to be like good soil, ready to receive seeds that are planted into them so that they can grow well. I wonder how your heart feels today. Is it feeling a bit sad, or a bit happy, or a bit lonely, or I don't know, a bit scared? I wonder how your heart's feeling today. Perhaps you can think about that whilst you just play with your hands in the soil and have a quiet moment. It's good fun getting mucky, isn't it? Now then, the next thing that we're going to do is to find our sticks and to make 3 crosses. Now, I found that actually it's quite tricky, so 4 hands are definitely better than 2 hands, I think, when it comes to making crosses out of sticks. I'm going to snap my stick so that there's one longer part, there, and one slightly shorter part, and then it's time for some string. If you get some help with the string and the scissors if you need that. I'm just going to put my soil over here out of the way so that I've got room here. Now it's definitely easier having a longer piece of string than you really need, so that you can cut off the loose ends. And so I'm going to put my string across the two pieces of sticks and just tie one knot in it. Told you it was tricky. Okay, sort of like that. It's very flippy floppy, isn't it? So then I'm going to wrap the string around in the other direction a little bit. One piece there, maybe that piece I'll wrap around here, and then down there, and that way, that way. Okay, that feels a bit tougher. And I'm going to tie a little knot there again. Okay, that's not too bad, and kind of just move it so that it looks a bit more cross-shaped. Oh, and I'm going to chop the ends off of the piece of string because I did have a nice long piece. One loose end, and two loose ends. Here we go, and in true Blue Peter style, here are two that I made earlier, just to save a little bit of time. So I've got 3 crosses. Don't need that piece of stick, that can go over there. Okay, so we've got our 3 crosses. Now, on that first Good Friday, Jesus was given a wooden cross to carry. I wonder what it would have felt like for Jesus to be carrying that cross. Would the cross have been hard and rough, or smooth? I wonder how he would have felt as they loaded the cross onto his shoulders and he had to walk to where he was going to be crucified. Now the next thing that we're going to do is to make a hill, because as Jesus was carrying his cross, he went up a big hill outside the city of Jerusalem. That's where all the crucifixions took place. We're going to use our little plant pot to make a hill. Oh, perhaps I shouldn't have put so much soil in here. You can learn by my mistakes. Here we are. Right, okay. So I've put my plant pot down there with the open end facing in. And I'm going to build, this is like sandcastles, I'm going to build up soil, hopefully over the top of it. And a bit down the back. Okay. It's not going too badly. Oh, there's a funny little green grub in my soil. I did get it from the garden. It must have been asleep in there all winter. Oh goodness, and I've woken it up. I'm going to leave it where it is on top of my hill just for a few moments, and then afterwards I'm going to find somewhere, I'll cover it up, there we are. Afterwards I'll find somewhere safe to put it back so that it can wake up naturally. Poor little grub. Right, okay, so there's my hill and the plant pot's still open there. And let me turn it round so that you can see it better. We're going to put our 3 crosses into our Easter garden now. 1. I just need to squash the soil down around the crosses. 2. And 3. Okay, our 3 crosses, there they are. And as Jesus was crucified, there were 2 other people with him, and they were surrounded by a crowd who were shouting very loudly. I wonder what it would have been like to be in the crowd, shouting very loudly, looking up and seeing Jesus on the cross. Now after a while, Jesus was on his cross with the other 2 men, and the sun stopped shining. It was such a moment that it was almost as though the whole world just came to a standstill for this moment when Jesus breathed his last and died. I wonder what the crowd were thinking then. Did they believe who Jesus was, or were they still unsure? I wonder about us. Do we believe who Jesus says he was and is? Or are we still a bit unsure this Easter time? Easter is a good time just to stop and to think about these kinds of questions. A little while later, some of Jesus' friends came and took his body down from the cross and took it to a tomb to lay it down, to bury it, as was the custom at the time. I've got some stones here to make a little pathway to the tomb. Here they are. Let's make a little pathway. We're going to use the inside of our flower pot as the inside of Jesus' tomb. So there's a little pathway going all the way. I thought I might quite like some water in my Easter garden as well, so I've got a little square of tin foil. I'm just going to turn it a bit more into a circle. You don't have to do this, but I just thought it would be nice. And then I'm going to put it in my palm, make a little dish with it. I just plant that in my garden as well. I'll pop it over here, just near to the tomb. Perhaps put a couple of pebbles in it to hold it down. Sometimes ponds have slightly pebbly bottoms, don't they? There we are. Right. And then let's put some rocks around our tomb as well. Maybe one here. And as Jesus' friends buried him, they left his body in the tomb and they rolled a big rock, a big stone in front of it to keep it safe. No one could get in, no one could get out because the stone was so heavy. Wow. And here we leave Jesus on our Good Friday story. But because we live after the Good Friday story, we do know that an amazing thing happened next. That great big stone that we just put in front of the tomb didn't stay there forever. And there was a big surprise that Jesus' friends discovered on Easter Sunday morning, which we will celebrate on Easter Sunday morning as well. So that's just a little clue, not wanting to spoil the story too much. But from this scene, where everything seems lost and Jesus is dead, there are signs that there might be some new life coming along. And as a sign of new life, I've got a little bit of grass seed here. Just here. I'm going to plant it in my garden, just around the pond, perhaps just on the hill. A bit more there. And I'm going to give it a little water. A bit of water over there. And I pray that as you make your Easter garden this Easter time, that the seed of the story of Good Friday might just grow in your hearts, in that good soil, and in your imagination. And I pray that as we read our Bibles together and think a little bit more about Jesus over this weekend and on into the coming days, that might be a little bit like the water that is just going to help activate these seeds in my garden and make them grow into something beautiful and green. So here's my Easter garden. I hope you enjoyed making it with me and thinking about those things that happened in the story on Good Friday. And I would love it if you would take a photograph of your Easter garden and pop it onto our Facebook page so that we can have a look and see your creativity and all of the things that you enjoyed popping into your garden as well. So for now, may I wish you a very happy Easter. Bye bye.